Hi everyone and welcome to Stamp with Angela. I'm Angela Palmer and today I'm going to be sharing with you some decorative masks. So these decorative masks are a great way to create a cool background for your cards. I often like to use embossing folders for a dry embossed background technique, which is quite cool. But sometimes to change it up, or if you don't happen to have an embossing and die cutting machine, then using something like these decorative masks are a great way to create an interesting background to your card so it's not too plain. Alright, so today I'm going to show you these decorative masks. I'll show you a couple of cards that I've made using them, and then we'll make one of those cards together today. So I hope it inspires you and gives you some ideas. And they're a product that is not too expensive to buy that you can then use to create lots of different cards. And the great thing is you can use it with whatever color you like to suit your card. So you can just use plain white, basic white cardstock, color it, and then you can make it all coordinate well with the cards that you're doing. So I'm going to turn my camera around and we're going to look at the craft area and do some crafting. So here you can see some of the decorative masks. So these decorative masks are in the annual catalogue. They're the Artistic Mix Decorative Masks, and they're a great way of using them, particularly, with inks, but you can use other things as well to create some cool backgrounds. So I'll show you a card. So this one here is what I've used, and this one is a little bit different. You can colour in a particular space or do the negative. But this is the card that I made. Alright, so as you can see, I have used this background, and then I've used some die cut images and things on it to make the card. Right, so let's get started. Just grabbing my ink pad. Now, when you're using a decorative mask, the important thing to remember is to keep it steady and not move it. So you can use some removable tape or something like that to keep it in place, or if you happen to be fortunate enough to have a Stamparatus, you can use that. So I'm going to use the Stamparatus basically just because of the magnets, and it can hold it in place. So this is for my card. I've got a card base, just standard size and smoky slate. I'm using the Starry Sky, which is one of the ink colours, and then a piece of basic white. So this is 9.5 by 13.8. The Starry Sky is a little bit bigger and is 10 centimeters by 14.8. And this is my standard card size, which is half an A4, 14.85, scored at 10.5. So what I'm going to do is put this here. Now my magnets are very strong, so I have to kind of slide them out the way, try and keep them away from each other so they don't snap together. So we're going to put this on, and then I'm going to lie this on the top. Now I want to try, particularly this design, you want to get it as straight as you can. So I'm going to line that up with lines and then decide how I'm going to put it. Let's do it like that, so it's kind of squarish, I guess, and then put my magnets click click in the corners here like so. Then I'm going to use a blending brush, and I've used, it's hard to kind of tell, but it's actually a sort of a Balmy Blue colouring. So let me get my Balmy Blue. This is the brush I use for this, and just very lightly we are going to colour the background. So I like to kind of start off in case it gives a kind of solid, oops, it moved now. That is not good. Now I've realised what's happened. I've magnetized this, but I haven't magnetized the one underneath. So learn from my mistakes. I haven't actually really done much yet, so that's fine. So I'm going to put it back again, but I realised what I'm going to need to do is I will need to put the magnet on the white. And then what I'll do is I'll do those corners at the end. Otherwise, the whole thing is going to move. So we're going to put it here and here. Here we go. Right, now both will stay still. So just going lightly with the colour. And often it's sort of hard to see that there is some colour there, but when you pull it away, you definitely see the difference. So, can you see that? Looks very cool. So if I lift it up slightly, you'll definitely see a contrast. I don't really want, I don't know if you can see, but you can definitely see the contrast between the two. So you can make it as light or as dark as you want to. Obviously start lighter and then go more. And then what I'm going to do is just carefully slide my magnet away a bit, and then I can do that corner that I missed before. Just make sure. Yeah, so the magnet does need to go over both layers, particularly because this is quite an open design. Some of the other designs are more, you know, closed, so you might get away with just doing the edges and things. All right. So looking at that, it probably doesn't look like there's a lot of colour there, but believe it or not, there is. So let's take a look at that. Beautiful. I like it. All right, so the important thing is, because I'm putting some ribbon on it, I do need to do that before I put it together, but we'll do our stamping and things so we've got our bits as well. So the stamp set that I'm using is this Nature's Print stamp set and dies, and I'm just looking for the actual set to show you what it looks like. Here we go, and I'm going to stamp it in Starry Sky ink, and it is quite a big stamp. Here we go. So Nature's Print, and we need our Starry Sky ink pad, which I have covered up. All right, and got my Balmy Blue, but where is my Starry Sky? It was right here. Oh, here it is. Okay, falling on the floor. All right, so just on a scrap piece of paper, we are going to stamp our piece. Now for this, I have die cut, so it's lifted up and that kind of thing, but you could stamp something, and you'll see some other examples directly onto that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that out, and when I cut it out, it looks like that. Now to me, that kind of got a little bit lost on there. So what I decided to do was cut another one out and put it behind and kind of shadow it, and then that really sort of made it pop out a bit more. So a little tip, the blue piece that you're putting behind is going to be covered up, right? So I cut these out of this. It's being economical with your cardstock, all right? Because then we will cover it up and you will never know. And then obviously I've got one of these as well. So this is also, these are from the same set. So let's stamp our sentiment, and then we'll kind of put it together. Fairly quick and easy. So this was a happy birthday card, but as you possibly know, I do quite like making thank you cards, because I send thank you cards to my customers. So we're going to have a go at this thank you stamp. Oh, beautiful. Always a bit wary of, usually I would stamp it, then die cut it, but just for the sake of the video, I don't want to be taking time going away and cutting it out. So I did it beforehand, and therefore I have, you know, stamping on a die cut. But that's okay. You've got more time at home, you can stamp it, then you can cut it out. All right, then we're going to get a little bit of tape and put it towards the bottom of this piece. Okay, and then we're going to get some of the Starry Sky ribbon. So it's the metallic woven ribbon, and put that across. Then I'm going to trim that with my ribbon scissors. So if you've seen these videos before, you know that the red is the ribbon ones. And then we're going to tie a bow and put it onto there. So you can use glue, you can use tape, whatever you prefer. I tend to like glue because I can adjust it. I'm only going to put glue around the edge because obviously there's big holes in the middle of this. So let's put that on there. Then we can adjust it. And then for my card base, I decided to use a smoky slate. Just going to give that a nice crease so it's a nice fold there. And put this on. All right, there we go. So that's kind of our card base. So that looks really interesting. Like if you had a white background and you just kind of put these on, it looks, you know, quite plain. But by having a little bit of pattern behind, it really adds to it. So what I did was I put a bit of glue on here, and then I adhered it to this one, but made it just slightly off, so it gives that kind of shadow effect, like so. And then I did the same with the well, in this case, thank you. So I kind of kept them the same way with the sort of shadowing on the left, like so. And then while they dry, I will tie my bow, which is always harder to do on camera, but we'll do our best. It's about that length, I guess. Hopefully I've made it long enough, not sure now, but we'll try. Smallish bow maybe. Different ways of tying a bow. I like to loop it around the piece that's already there and then tie my bow. Now if it's not quite sitting the way I want, I could just put a little glue dot underneath, which will kind of hold it in place. All right, so you can decide if you want that to sort of come from there or up a bit, and obviously we've got to have room for this too. And so I'm actually going to use some mini dimensionals, because spread it around a bit to lift it up. Looks very cool. Maybe one more. And usually I'd use probably bigger ones on something like this, just maybe 2 of them. So it's great how you can have the different size of dimensionals. And then pull off the backing. There we go. And shortly I'll show you some other ways I've used these decorative masks as well, because some of you may not have, you know, stamps and die cuts and things, so you don't have to have die cuts, but it's quite nice to add the layering, whoops, if you can. All right, we'll do this one a little bit more. This one's more sort of left. We'll do that one more, a little bit like that. So you could leave it like that, or if you like sparkle, we could add a bit of sparkle. At the moment, my favourite are these, because they tend to pick up whatever sort of colour is around them. My Take Your Pick tool has gone, oh no, here it is. It's there for a walk, but it is here. It's just disguised as a brush as well. So let's put a few. I always like 3. That's a nice kind of odd number. Maybe a little one over here. There we go, just sort of adds to it. So you can leave it plain like that, or you can add a bit of sparkle to it. And that's basically all it really is, just with that background. So let me just show you some other ways of using it as well. So a couple of the, so that was another design. And so here's a couple of cards I made with this. So this one here, I decided not to cover the whole sheet. You'll see that, you know, I've got patches and some white around it. And then I stamped my happy birthday in black. That happy birthday is from the Shaded Summer set. And then this is a more solid stamp, and that's from the Fresh Cut Flowers. So sort of a silhouette kind of look. Then a bit of ribbon and a little bit of bling. So there's no die cutting on this. It's just stamping the background. Initially this is what I was going to teach, but then I kind of quite liked the other one, so I thought, oh, we'll share it and show you the other one. Same colouring, but another card. This one does involve a little bit of die cutting. Ideally I would have probably liked to have put some black twine on there, but I realised I'd kind of run out. And initially I was going to have it sort of facing the same way as this, going across and a little bit lower. But I had a couple of smudge marks up there with black ink, so I was like, well, I'm not going to waste it, I'm still going to use it. And so I just changed my positioning, and then I put the twine on instead of the black. So, you know, you can make it work with what you've got, but I quite like that black against that. And of course you can do it in any sort of colours and things. And there are other ones to try as well, which I haven't had a chance to make a card, but maybe we'll give that a go. And there's these ones too, which you could obviously put that on and then colour around it, or you can use these parts. So it gives you two options there. So here are some of the cards using the decorative masks. So have you used any decorative masks in the past? Have you given it a go or not? Love to hear from you. And if you're interested in purchasing these, they are a reasonably priced item that you can use in lots of ways without too many supplies and things. So I've used it with ink. You can use it with embossing paste as well, that kind of thing too, which is very cool. So there's different ways of using it. So I hope you like today's creation, which was this one with the decorative mask and some other variations too. So why not give it a go and let me know how you get on. So thank you for joining my Facebook Live today, whether you're watching the Facebook Live or whether you're watching the video on YouTube later. Thank you. And if you have any questions, please ask. And if you would like to purchase anything and you don't have a demonstrator, then please get in touch with me and I would love to hear from you. So please remember to check out my Facebook page each Thursday for my Facebook Lives, or weekly I will share on YouTube. One last thing before we go, I'd like to share about a promotion that is happening in October. So this is the starter kit available in October until the 31st for an extra special deal. So signing up as a demonstrator anytime is a great thing to do. I joined up with no promotion and I'm glad I signed up when I did. But you get some extras. So, you get to be a demonstrator, you get to meet with other demonstrators, you get to see product early, you get a discount, there's demonstrator events. It's just, I love being a demonstrator and met many people through it, and grateful that I have. I do classes. You don't have to do classes. You can just stamp on your own or get together with friends, even with kits and things, just have lots of fun. Obviously, if you get orders from others, that helps, but you don't have to. So usually, it's $189 to join to get your starter kit, and you get to choose what you want in it, whether you've got supplies already and you just want to get some things you like, or you're starting off from scratch. You can choose what you want to put in it. But for October, instead of, usually you get to spend up to $285 worth of product. In October, you get to spend up to $333. So that's like another, I can't remember my maths now, $48 or something extra on product. So that's another stamp set or a few ink pads or something like that. So you get to get a wonderful selection of products. And if you need help deciding, I can help you with that. So I'd love you to join my team. It doesn't matter where you are in New Zealand. I've got people from way up north of Whangarei to those down in Invercargill. So I can support you. Technology is great these days. There's phone calls, text, email. I do team meetings on Zoom, so keep you up to date. So we still can connect, even if we can't all connect in person at the same time. So if you've got any questions about that, please feel free to ask. Even if you decide in the end it's not for you, no worries. But have a think about it. So thank you again for joining me today. And I hope you enjoyed today's cards and using the decorative masks. So it has been fun sharing these cards with you. So I hope to see you all again soon. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, bye.